as a student. We are here as a learner. Okay, my friends, we can tonight talk about something that I like to think about it, because when you talk about mind, thought, and health, we have been talking the last 3 months over here, not only in English and Portuguese. We have this main topic is about health and mind, with so many different aspects, so many different perspectives, so many different experiences. Sometimes we're going to see mind is something that we need to think about because we don't know exactly what it is. Let's go start by the simple one. Health. Health is something that's not easy to understand, it's more easy to define. We can understand like in the medical books and the physiology books, and he says health is a state of a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. See, the physical is very easy, right? When you go to the doctor, you're going to the physician, he can see your physical. If he has some times, he's going to ask about your social. And if a little bit of time, your mental state. But this was the physicians of the 70s. Today is completely different. We have a group of physicians, we have some universities, they work very hard and very, very good on this idea to put the mental health together with the physical health. Even though you cannot define mind by precision, but we know there is over there related to our health. And then let's go talk then, what is the mind? We don't know exactly what is the mind. I don't know. Even the science don't know for sure. But we can make a little bit of an organization of the ideas and say, mind, the element of a person that enables us to be aware of the world and their experience, to think, to feel, the fact of consciousness that nobody can define yet. Scientists, physicists, biologists, chemists, a lot of different philosophies try to understand what, at least to explain what consciousness, we don't know yet. And thought. Even though we cannot explain the thought, we cannot explain the consciousness, we know that we are conscious. We know they have thoughts. Every time we have thoughts. And then what are you going to talk about the thoughts? He said over here, mental activity generates thoughts. Means every time you're thinking about something, every time you have a thought in your mind, even if you train yourself to do a meditation, it's not you have no thoughts. You have your thought focused in one point. You try to discipline it. You try to organize the ideas, not to exterminate the thoughts. Every time you have thoughts. And this is very interesting because every time thoughts always have two aspects, cognition and feelings. It's impossible you separate, say, today I only reason, no feelings at all. It's impossible, it's impossible. You already make a choice, it's because you have a feeling. You say, no, I don't feel to have feelings today. I'm gonna have only mind, rational mind. Or sometimes you completely wake up and say, look, today I'm completely lost my mind, right? You don't lost your mind. You means I'm only feelings today. I don't want to reason for anything. Today I'm going to do like most crazy days of my life. That's what feelings. But also you have the cognition together with you, because you have the choice, means you reason about that. Then you have to keep in mind, we never can separate cognition and thoughts, one side here, one side there. No, it's not possible. They come together. Like we talk about electricity, you have, they call electromagnetic waves. They have electricity and magnetism all the time. Those waves go together. It's like, if you see like thought is a waves, it's like this, cognition and feelings, cognition and feelings, cognition, feelings. But why we think about only cognition? Because that's we give more easy to do it, right? It's easy. You go to the school to educate yourself on the cognition aspect. Nobody here took a PhD in forgiveness, right? Nobody. Ingratitude. No, you learn this, as it was talking before in Portuguese, you learn this in your life, day by day. That's the school of life that's going to teach you this. In the Spirit's book, Allan Kardec, there is a question number 75, letter A and C, that's this. Why is that reason is not always infallible guide? Why you cannot follow out day by day by a reason? You have a conscience, you have a cognition, we learn a lot of stuff, science is so advanced. Why cannot only use reason to go guide your life? And the answer, it would be infallible if it were not perverted by a false education. What is a false education? It's sometimes that we create to ourselves, right? It's like the guy said, look, don't eat that food because that's not good for your health. Oh, but I'm gonna eat, and that's at the end we eat. That's the false education we do to ourselves, right? It's not because someone is teaching wrong stuff for us. We not follow sometimes the good reason. Our feelings say, I want to eat that stuff. I want to drink that drink. And then we do it, right? It was talking about here. The guy that smokes, he smokes because he wants to smoke. He needs that stuff. It's not because the reason say, oh, no, I cannot understand anything about that. He study. Sometimes he's even a physician. Can you believe it? This guy even a physician, and sometimes he smokes. Why? Because he has the feeling. And that's the false education we do by ourselves, right? Pride, selfishness. Is that something that we do it? And this sentence here, reason leaves freedom of choice. Even though we cannot be guaranteed that science is going to tell you that you have free will, they have some philosophers say you don't have free will, you're a consequence of your brain. But one thing we know for sure, freedom of choice. People even go to a war, kill people for freedom of choice. Right? They say, no, this is our freedom of choice. That's the most essential and reality for us, freedom of choice. Then people can tell you, you don't have free will. You say, okay, but I have the freedom of choice. I have the freedom of choice to agree or disagree with that idea. And this is very important. Why? Because the freedom of choice is something implied to you. You are responsible for what you choose. Don't blame people because you're not happy. Or don't blame people because you are not in a good state of mind today. You have this choice. They can help you change your mind, but the choice is your choice. Well, there is another question that I want to talk about here that's going to be related to the idea of thoughts. He said, question number 22, Spirit's books. Allan Kardec organized the Spirit's books. I like to say Allan Kardec organized the Spirit book because he didn't write the book. Some people believe, oh, he was the one who wrote the book. No, he organized. He got all the questions and the answers, put it together, and organized the book. There is no sense to say, oh, he wrote the book. No, he organized. He wrote some paragraphs giving explanation according to the listening for the spirits, but he organized most of the information came from the mediums for the spirits. And the question is that matter is generally defined as being that which has been extension. Look, this kind of a question here, he was done in 1855, 1856, because the first edition of this book was 1857. Then on that time, nobody knew about electrons, protons, neutrons, quarks, whatever people know today. And then he asked this question that, see, when you read this question, it's so silly, right? It's so simple. But for that time, that was a good question. And look at the answer here, because he wants to know if the definition is good. For your point of view, they are correct. You'll say, the way you see today is correct, because you can only define according to what you know. You cannot define something that you don't know. How you can explain the mind if you don't know how the mind is composed, how the mind works? We want to know, okay, there is mind, there is thoughts. I have feelings, but I cannot describe feelings. Like I cannot do a mathematical equation that can calculate what is going to happen with my feelings in 2-3 hours from now, because we don't know how to describe this. And then he said, but matter exists in states which are known to you. Look how bright was this sentence. He said, look, the future is going to show you so many things that you don't know yet. And that's true, right? because it was like 56 years later, the science started to spread the knowledge about matter, talk about electrons, talk about protons. And today, if you ask for a quantum physicist what is matter, he might give an answer that you say, look, forget, I cannot understand your answer because it's so changed. They changed the perception so much that it's easy to say, look, let's go keep the information for the last centuries. That's only I can capture right now. Let's go keep it on why matter is important here. Because Kardec wants to know, is the spirit independent of matter or it's only one the property of matter? He wants to know, look, this is, we're talking about here, soul, spirit. Is something that's separate from matter? Or is a consequence of a physical chemical property? Because everybody said, my thoughts, my mind is a consequence of the neurons all connected together. They produce my mind. Then mind has to be kind of a matter. Okay, but he says, it is the spirit independent of matter? Answer, yes. The spirit and matter are distinct from one another. The union of the spirit and matter is necessary to give intelligent activities. Means intelligence is something that belongs to the soul, to the spirit, does not belong to the matter. Means if we lose this body by biological death, we keep living and keep what? Our feelings and keep our cognition. You keep our intelligence. It's not because also because you discarnate, you become a genius. No, it's not like that. Everybody's going to be Einstein. No. Everybody's going to be good like Leonardo da Vinci. No. We're going to keep the level that we have now. But remember, the main idea that Kardec tried to be very clear, you see, it was question 25, was in the beginning of the book, is to understand, look, spirit is one thing and matter is another thing. We have two different things. We can study, understand matter in some parts, because now when you talk about dark matter, it's dark because you don't know for sure what is this. But it's separate, means we can live after this body die in different types of matter, in different types of universe, if you could say like that. Let's go remember, this was the science of the last century, right? It's 1925. It's almost 100 years ago. People start to talk about this, that matter can be observed as a particle and wave. This was so interesting that one scientist from Germany, Werner Heisenberg, he wrote a book called Physics and Philosophy. And he wrote in this book, say, the philosophers, the quantum physics or the quantum mechanics will only be understood on the next century, now. And it's today, even today, we say, look, this guy started to talk about quantum physics like 1 century ago. Say, yes, 1 century ago. It's amazing. And most of us still try to understand. There is some physicists say nobody understands. We only try to understand. Nobody knows for sure. But what is important here, this idea? That matter can show two aspects. It can observe as a wave, means like it relate to energy, or can observe as a particle, relate to the mass. Is a particle has a mass. And therefore, light can be observed as an electromagnetic wave, or can be observed as a particle. That was the great work of Einstein. Einstein did a calculation in 1905 that he proved the light can behave like a particle. And people say, oh my God, now come the very confusion. Everybody was very happy to say there was only a wave. Now this guy do a calculation so precise and do experiment. They prove by experiment that light can behave as a particle. Why this is important for us? Because when you talk about thoughts, we can make an analogy. We can make create ideas that the thoughts can behave like a wave. I can produce my thoughts and they can spread as a wave, or also can do like a matter, like a particle. They can create some image around me. And those people, they have this ability to see, they call clairvoyance, or the people that have ability to see, or psychics, they have ability to see the spiritual world. They can see those images. They can see those like description of you we're thinking about. Or they can sense the thoughts. Most of us cannot see this, but most of us for sure, we can sense the thoughts. Sometimes you get someplace, oh, this place is so nice. You come over here, you sit down, close your eyes for 2-3 minutes, you feel the vibration. You feel the energy flowing in your body. Sometimes you go another place, it's completely different sensation. Yes, but you sense this, like a wave coming to you. You cannot see, but you sense this. André Luiz, on the book they call in English the mechanism of mediumship, mechanics of mediumship. André Luiz explained this. The thoughts or mental fluid. Why they says a fluid? Because he can see from the spiritual world, he can see this matter flowing in a spiritual body. We cannot see with our eyes, but the discarnated Samidis can see this flowing. Our production not from the brain, but from the mind. Means the thoughts not come from the brain, come from the mind. He's explained the mind? No, we don't know yet. If anybody asks to this, oh, does Spiritism explain the mind? Not yet. We don't know yet. We know that exists and they produce the thoughts, but we cannot explain yet. The only thing we know is this: the mind is not the brain. The brain is the one, like a tool that receives the thoughts and can spread this information by a biological body. And he says, nevertheless, thought is still matter. Means our thoughts can behave like a waves or can behave like a particle, can create images. Is this mental matter in which the laws of formation of magnetic charge in atomic systems prevail a new sense of compose these marvelous seas of subtle energy? What he wants to say is this: if you use the physics they have today on our science, like the quantum physics, the quantum mechanics, they can use that information to try to understand the idea of thoughts. Thoughts behave as a wave, like when you think about it, you can spread. Like then you're going to relate to what? Our feelings, right? Because when most of you is spreading is your feelings. We don't want to spread our cognition. We don't mind too much. But the feelings, what the people was talking here before, I want to get home, get out here nice and go home, what? You're going to spread your good feelings, right? You're going, wherever you pass, people say, wow, this guy is nice. Oh, you see this person? He's pressed like a field around him. I feel so good to be around him. We expected this, right? But sometimes you're not so good today, right? When you get on some place, people start to sense the vibration. They don't know what's happening, and everybody starts to be agitated. You know when people get together and everybody starts to be agitated, nobody's comfortable, nobody's feeling good. Say, what's going on? What happened?
The vibration?
Yes, the vibration that we have together with us. It's like if you create a field around yourself. It's like if you have a light, but the light has so many different colors, right? So many different frequencies. And that's what happens with our thoughts. Our thoughts can spread. And most of the time, the thoughts is going to be spreading our feelings. Why? Because this is the one that's most difficult for us to organize. You don't lose your knowledge when you sleep and wake up. You keep your knowledge. You know, wake up, go drive your car, we're going to take some kind of a transportation, go to the school, or go to work, go to do some activity. You keep like a machine, right? It's so easy. It's cognitive, you're okay. But feelings, you cannot guarantee that tomorrow when you wake up, how are going to be your feelings? You expect to be good. But sometimes it's a little bit because you have a little headache. Oh my God, that's the day is gone. Because a little headache, or sometimes you already, when you stand up 5 minutes late before you expect to stand up. That's enough for you to lose, oh my God, I'm late, and you lose yourself. The feelings go all disorganized again. Your cognitive science is okay. Your mind on aspect of the reason is nice, is perfect. But the feeling aspect, we change everything. We change everything. And then the thoughts start to be spreading all the way it relates to the feelings. We need to understand that because when you go to the school, what do you learn? You learn the cognition. You learn to have a profession. But the feelings is something that you need to be training almost every day, right? Once you learn how to bike, you bike. But once you learn to understand about forgiveness, it don't mean you forgive every time. You only understand about forgiveness. But to do this is every day. Every day you need to do exercise about yourself. But till your day you say, today I was a little bit better. Today I spend a little bit more. Then we need to understand that because for long and long years, we have only do the cognition. improving the cognition, improved cognition. You know, when you look 20 years ago, 30 years ago, say, oh my God, now I'm learning so much about this profession. But then you look 40 years ago, on your first years, you go into the school, say, look, the way was my feelings sometimes look like the same. I'm still fighting for little stuff. Sometimes some words that people talk to me, I misunderstand the words, I misunderstand the behavior of the people, and I got completely disorganized in my mind. Then he says, the particles of thought, see, now he's trying to see thought as a matter, as a particle. Although live and powerful in its composition, flows from the spirits, and it's under influence of feelings, which give the form and nature of goodness and evil. Then we need to understand that the most of the time we need to educate ourselves is the feelings. It's not, educate feelings is not to me exterminate the feeling, it's change. You're going to say, okay, I'm not going to be, nothing's going to irritate me anymore. Nothing's going to make me lose my balance. No, that's not going to happen. What you're going to see is this, okay, that music used to give me headaches. Now I can listen to that music and, okay, ignore the music. Because you already educate yourself. Is that situations that you need to do, say, look, I cannot exterminate because no, it's impossible. You're going to change step by step. How you interact with your people, how do you interact with life day by day, that's going to be the change of the feelings. That's going to be how your thoughts are going to respond to yourself. And then Louis said, whenever we think, expressing our inner field by means of ideation, speech, attitude, and example. We create thought forms, means like our thoughts, if somebody can see, they can see those lights around us, right? They can see the flowers, because wherever you go, you see the flowers come out for you. But some people sometimes not flowers, right? So it's like a thunderstorm. Like you remember that sometimes you see the cartoon, the guy walk with the cloud in the top of him. Yes, that's sometimes we need to understand, oh wow, what I'm going to do today is the clouds, or I'm going to see the flowers, going to like sense the flowers. And he said, which scatter around us, you see, they create like this psychic atmosphere. This is something that we need to be very conscious about this. Because the guys used to say, if you don't have good words, it's better be in silence. Because at least you don't say words that are going to be aggressive, violent for somebody else. And this, you see, we express by means of ideation and speech. Speech is something that some people, they don't pay attention. Some people don't realize how many bad words he talk when he talk 10 words. Sometimes you used to say, Jesus, why are these people talking like this? Because they used to say that. They still express his attitude. Sometimes people are going to ask you, listen, I never heard you talking about like a faulty word, a bad word. Why you don't say like that? It's so normal to say, yeah, but I'm not everybody, I'm not the norm. I'm trying to be different because you can see by your words, by your attitude, you're going to see your mind. You're going to see your thoughts. Some people it's still like mechanical thoughts. So automatic that they don't perceive the words they are saying day by day. If you keep the record and say, try to listen to this. Oh, I didn't know. That's my voice. No, I didn't say those words. I don't say those words for people. Yes, you have to be educated. You have to train yourself because it's very important. Another thing that André Luiz brings for us is this. This has around us, each individual has this kind of a field they call vital halo or aura. Some people has the ability to see the colors, to see with this. And they says, you see, according with the wave mechanics, the physics, they define the frequency and the colors. We know by the light of the rainbow, right? We see the red go to the violet. Violet, high frequency, more energy. And the red is low frequency, low energy. Then you need to think about, say, how is the color around me, right? It's going to be the ones that are going to be changed. Sometimes they're going to orange, sometimes it's green, nice, I'm flowing. The blue, when I sit down there here, make some kind of a prayer, I can sense the blue lights around me. This is so interesting because sometimes it's some kind of a therapy. People try to say, let's go listen to this music, let's go think about a blue light flowing around yourself. Let's go sense the smell. Smell is another thing. He didn't tell about the smell over here, but it's amazing. Some high spirits, they come. I have opportunity one day. I was sit down nearby the medium, and then one of the spirits was giving a communication, giving some information about for the group. You could sense the flowers. You could smell the flowers. Say, my God, what a sense! The spirit was so organized, so illuminated that you could sense the flowers. And then when he leave, you see the smell stop. I say, that's amazing. That's something that some higher spirits can give this smell. In the same way, the spirits is like disorganized mind can give some different kind of smells. And that's something that is good because you can use like the flowers to help you to induce a different state of mind. Like aromatherapy, you can put different aromas, different smells, and like lights, music. All of this is to help you to do what? To change this kind of a state of mind, to elevate your frequency, to organize your mind. It's not only a question to say elevate your frequency, but also to organize your body. Because remember, if your mind is pressed by the brain, and the brain connects with the whole body, then you need to organize your mind to organize your body. If you do not organize your mind, you do not organize your thoughts, your body must be going completely disorganized, complete state of like a disease or very sick body. People doesn't know, and they say, oh, this is psychosomatic disease. It's something that's related to your mind, and you don't know what to do. Because you take medicine from here, you make this kind of a lab exam, and you cannot find the problem. We cannot find the problem, and you're still feeling the pain. You're still feeling not good. This is so amazing because one of the most difficult aspects of the psychiatric evaluation is like how I can identify in the physiological body depression. What kind of a lab test I can do? Take the blood and say, oh, this guy have a depression. Only see by the blood. Very, very difficult. You only see depression by the behavior. And if there's a behavior because someone is in control, means we are in control. It's not the brain that's working causes depression. We are in control. We know that some kind of a deficiency in the neuronal system, some problem on the brain can lead people to this position. But the decision, the choice is ours. Then we do not expect one day, one day the science is going to be so advanced, they're going to produce a pill that are going to go to Walgreens or CVS and be happy. It's the happy pill. Oh, today I need to take that pill. Oh, that's the love pill. Oh, I'm going to take that medicine. It's going to be a lovely person today. I'm going to take this medicine here because I'm not feeling so good. I take this medicine. Oh, I'm nice. I still don't believe that CVS and Walgreens or the great companies like Pfizer is going to produce some chemical that's going to change you. It's going to help your body. It's going to stabilize some neuronal activities in your brain, but not going to change your thoughts, not going to change your feelings. That's your freedom of choice. We need to exercise this. And then we know something that's very important here. He said, we can clearly see that the mental matter is a subtle instrument of the will. That's something really very interesting. The will, we want to do that. Sometimes you can have two individuals, they have almost the same thoughts, right? I want to run 2 miles in 30 minutes. But one said, 2 miles in 30 minutes? Let me calculate how many steps. The other one said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start to train today. In 3 months, I'm going to be doing this. The will. They want to do it. Everybody can have the will. Everybody has the will. And then you can have 2 individuals that have the same goals, but one, the will is down here, the other will is like this. I say, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to change myself. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to start to change step by step. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change. That's the will. We need to have this. And something that's belongs to the mind, we don't know how to define. Can you define the will for me? I don't know. Can you find some kind of a chemical or some kind of a therapy that's improved my will? I don't know. That's something that belongs to you. Which one of us, we have this, but we need to exercise this. It's something that we're going to exercise every day. You know that when you're a child, you want to learn something. Oh, I want to learn how to go bike. If you don't have the will, you don't learn. But when you were young, when you're a child, that's nice. Every child wants a will for everything. He wants to learn everything, want to play everything, do everything. And then when you grow up, we start to change. We have to have this kind of a fear. That fear is something that's going to hold you for a long time in some time, because the fear takes your will go down. Oh, but if I want to do this, how about the other things how people gonna see me? Oh my God. So I should do this? I have to think about this. And the will is gonna be stop there, sit down, and let's go wait for you. Because the fears is something that's really dangerous, something that we do not educate, not because you don't have fears. Oh, I don't have fear anymore. No, it's not that. You educate yourself. Fears help you to go forward so many times with careful, but you cannot use them to stop you. Your will has to be good. Another information that's going to see, the soul creates our own states of mental induction. What is this induction? Can you induct someone? Can you cause someone to change their mind? Yes, you can help. But how are you going to do this? Remember we talked before about the speech, attitude, examples. Right? When you say good words, when we stimulate people to find better way of life, when they see your example, they see your attitude. The guy say, look at that guy. He lives in Africa. He almost doesn't have food every day. He has to walk 2 miles to go to the school. He's still laughing. He's still happy. He's amazing. How can you do that? It's something that can doctors say, look, if this guy can do that, why I cannot do better than this? Why I cannot change my life to a step forward? Because I have so many things compared with these people live in Africa right now. That's so easy for me to do what he's doing now. I don't need to walk 2 miles to go to the school. I walk maybe half a mile to go to the supermarket once in a month, because most of the time we take the car and go over there, some kind of a transportation. And then we need to do this. We can help people with the examples that we live. The same way, he said here, is the agents of lights or darkness. The same way that you can help, your behavior also can be observed and induce people the wrong way. Then we need to educate ourselves to see, is my words, my expressions of behavior, is doing something good for someone? That's why I said, if you don't know what to say, good words, because you're so bad, stay silent and do a prayer. Okay, let me pray for 2 minutes to see if comes some idea over here. This is very important to do this. And then he said here, our mind produces currents of mental matter that can elevate ourselves to gradually, you see the word in red, gradually, liberation. You're not going to go here to be next week an angel. We're not going to do that. Next week we're going to do one step. We change ourselves. Or we can keep what? Stationary. The way it is good, the way it is, I'm staying. We never go back. Or you stay here, or you improve yourself. Because you cannot say, I know what, I used to smoke, I stopped for 3 years, and then I come back again. Did you regress? No. Did you stationary? You go back. You stay the same way you were before. You didn't change. Right? That's the way you need to understand. It's our choice, freedom of choice. We can choose to be stationary, or we can choose change ourselves and do something different. On the chapter 22, that is for organize everything here. André Luiz says this: it is easy to understand that any physical or mental abuse will be immediately reflected through consequential mental reactions. Means you see the word abuse. We can commit some mistakes, right? You can eat something that's gonna not good to your health, but you're not going to destroy yourself. Sometimes you lose your patience, sometimes you irritate, you speak louder for someone, you scream, shout. But this is not a destruction. It's only a moment. Right? A moment that you can say, oops, I recognize I did something wrong. Let me stop for a moment and let's change this. Let's correct this. Then those kind of a mental can do two things in our cellular body. Can be favorable or unfavorable. Means we're going to choose. And this is very important because sometimes you see, not only your thoughts can destroy your health, but by the opposite, most of the times your thoughts are going to help your health. Sometimes you have a disease, you have some situation that you're not good in, but if you start to organize your feelings, you start to see life in a different way, you can help your body. I have seen so many research here in the United States from people they have like cancer, or they have some kind of a disease that's very difficult disease to be treated, and they start to do some kind of I could say, a mental therapy, right? They start to work like a therapy with the feelings, some kind of a philosophy completely different the way they used to do, and suddenly like 6-7 months later, they see the body start to recover. He knows that one day, everybody here knows one day the body is going to find biological death. But the body starts to recover little by little. And that's one thing that science in the United States, the physicians, start to study in the universities over here. And if you make a research, you can go Google, you can go like another medical research related to spirituality and health today in the United States. You're going to see so many different centers of research in the university, because they figured out that if you start to have those kind of feelings about gratitude by yourself, you will learn how to forgive yourself, you learn how to work the ideas of fears, you learn how to be more confident with yourself. This is going to help your health. This is going to help your body to improve for different states. And this is very interesting because today this is science. This is not religion anymore. This is science. And what the Spirit was talking to Allan Kardec on 1857, it starts to be more clear now. Say, look, those kind of a behavior, those kind of a change is necessary if you want to improve yourselves. This is not a mere question of theology. No, this is science. The scientists are proving that if you have good feelings, if you change the way you see life, if you improve your sense of gratitude, if you improve your sense of kindness, so many other things, you're going to improve your health. And this becomes reality. That's one thing I want you guys to understand and work on this idea, that this is not only a sense of philosophy. This is going to can be and should be our reality every day. We can work our feelings, we can step by step change ourselves, and then you can understand that life is not going to be a miracle happen on another day, but it's going to be a work by work, day by day, that we can find this path in our life. Thank you very much.